Warcry so big I can barely fit it in the frame.
Spiky bits.
Welcome back, hobby maniacs. I'm Baer from spikybits.com, and we got Warcry. This is the newest hyphy. This is what all the kids are talking about. I say kids, but you know what I mean. All them hobbyists out there. It's a ginormous box. This, I know you can't see right there, but this is as tall as the Knight Renegade box, and it's very firm. We'll say strong, we'll say firm, whatever you want to do. It is designed to hold a lot of stuff here, and there is a lot of stuff in here. So $170 US for this box. We'll take a look at the sprues. We'll go through this whole box here in a second, talk about some values. Not really going to get into the gameplay as much because there's going to, Games Workshop's done a lot of previews. There's going to be a lot of people really getting into it and getting really visceral with it. And I don't feel that like that's exactly what we do here. We're going to show you a lot of the cool miniatures, maybe put a few of them together, and just kind of talk about maybe the future for this, because the rollout path is definitely following what they did for 40K and Kill Team 1 year ago. Now, sprue wise, you're gonna get a massive amount of stuff here, and we're gonna talk about values here in a second. But you're gonna get all the Iron Golem stuff. Well, here, let me just show you the assembly sheet. You're gonna get all the Iron Golems, all the Untamed Beasts, the Chaotic Beasts. It's the little lizard-looking things, and the little crazy demon. I don't even know what they are, but they're cool looking. And a scenery pack as well, which pretty much encompasses all of this. And by all of this, I mean, look at how thick of sprue we're talking here. So you're gonna get some multi-part kit stuff, which is pretty much all of this. And then the terrain, it's a little bulky, it's a little chunky, but it isn't any less quality than anything we've seen come out of China. I mean, it's very done well. I mean, you can tell there's individual like lines in the board here. We've got all this like cuts into the deadwood. It kind of looks like birch maybe. And over here you've got a lot of metal and a lot of different things on all this barrier, skeletons up the wazoo. And then it starts kind of getting into maybe perhaps what was, Sigmarite lands, like some stuff here that looks like it was something out of Sigmar before you retreated and the Age of Chaos began. But you got all that right there too. And there's 2 sprues of this, which is going to come with this little, I guess, faux wall section that's kind of been rebuilt and barricaded. And then this thing right here, which is like some sort of, I think it was a toppled statue of Sigmar, complete with Sigmar earrings, because why not? Or lightning bolt earrings. And then this forms like some sort of pedestal thing that you've probably seen in the previews of the terrain. And then over here, when we get to the other side, taking the multi-part kits out, you've got 2 of the same sprues again that we just showed you. Well, actually, no, I take that back. These are not 2 of the same sprues. These are 2 similar sprues with similar areas right there, but some kind of ruined Sigmar type things. And this might be that terrain that we heard rumors about. We knew about the Corpse Rax Mausoleum, which is a different set. But this might be what is going to actually be put out again separately. Hard to say because all the names kind of sound the same. I think it was Wrecked Sigmar something or another. So that might be this, which, a lot of times they put out these starters and then they release them separately. And then this one's really cool. It's got some sort of, not Screaming Bell right here, Sigmarite Bell, which is very cool and very impressive. And then it has a little stairway leading up to it, and there's a little bell ringer, whatever that thing's called, and it's very cool. This is it's definitely, they're coming on very on point with all their terrain sprues and stuff for these skirmish games. I say skirmish games, but really just terrain in general. They're really coming on. So what's left after all of that big stack I showed you a couple frames ago is this, and this is all the multi-part kit sets. And I'm actually going to pull these out of the way and show these to you one by one. So I'm just kind of grabbing them off the top here. So this, I think, is not the Iron Golems. This is the Untamed Beasts. So here's the Untamed Beast faction, and there's that lion that can like eat people and stuff. It's left and right halved, and then that guy's right on there, and it's got the whip dude. So very Dark Oath or Koeth, whatever you want to call it. Very cool. And this is some of the Iron Golem stuff, and man, it's almost like a Submariner kind of meets Chaos 300 kind of feel. I really did. I mean, just look at all the chainmail. Look at these crazy weaponry and just everything. Like, man, I don't even know where to start with this. It's like just something completely different that's yet still wholly, you know, Warhammer, and it's very neat to see. You're gonna get two of the same halves for one of the Chaos Beasts. These are the flyer things. I guess they're mixed together, huh? These are the things with the wings. Yeah, okay, so it's the single kit, but it makes, so there's the Batwing stuff. I don't know what these are. I literally haven't looked at it. But, and here's the feathers. So yes, I'm sure they are called something very specific, and yes, I don't know what they are. Be kind to me. And here's the other sprues. So you're gonna get 2 sprues of these in the Untamed, and 2 sprues of these. So they definitely remind me of the Chaos Hounds from back in the day, and there's a close-up of those. But the feather work is incredible. All the little spines and everything on here, the crazy tongues and pterodactyl looking maws. I don't know, man. That's, again, very, very unique to this genre and things like that. So this is the rest of the Iron Golem, and it's 2. Okay, so it's 2 sprues. Look at all that chain work. Look at those shields. Crazy stuff. And then this is the other one. So that means, that means that Untamed Beast is only 1 sprue. Is that right? I don't know. I think I'm missing a sprue somewhere. I'm gonna have to look around for that. That doesn't seem right. Or one of these is that. Ah, one of these is that. So there are 3 sprues. So it's 3 sprues long. Okay, so chain work still on point and everything there. And then here's the Untamed Beasts. And let's take a look at the rest of, I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, there's nothing else like it out there. I don't know what to say. Bone Sword, what? Crazy. I figured we should have a quick flip through the assembly instructions too, so that you can see all the sprues laid out. So they are indeed in rows of 3 for all of that stuff, and then 2 of these have, well, this one has 2 of the same sprue, and then 2 of the same sprue right there to make a total of 4. Sprue sizes, of course, and the terrain, and some of them, like we showed you, there's 2 of those as well. Assembly wise, they go together as you would expect, with some weird like kind of front stuff that you would see with like Necromunda or something like that, but at the end of the day, they all go together like a certain way. So there isn't quite that posability that there is with the Necromunda miniatures, unfortunately, but they are just very, very gorgeous. Oh, there is. Okay, that's cool. So 2 different ways to assemble that guy, 2 different ways to assemble this. So that's pretty neat. Bola or twin hammers. I love the like Spartacus kind of gladiator kind of meets Age of Sigmar, Mortal Realms meets all. I mean, it's just, there's so many design elements, and this is why I think Warhammer is so cool, is because it has all of that pop culture reference, and you can see little things here and there, and you're like, why does that look so familiar to me? And then you start realizing that you've seen it in pop culture and film and all over the internet, all over the place, and very cool. Raptorix, okay, Raptorix, cool. All right, we'll go with it. And there it is right there with the wings, and it goes together multi-part kit style. Furies, oh, they're Furies. No way, they are Furies. Wow, we've been needing plastic Furies for so many years. This is awesome. I'm so excited that these are Furies. I mean, I could see where people would use them as Furies, but just the fact that the old Fury models were so hard to find and so lackluster compared to this new plastic. Wow, gorgeous. Oh my gosh. So they go together left and right half. So it's computer slice, but you know, some legs and some wings and some different stuff here. Potato. They've been getting pretty good at hiding the seam lines. We'll have to see. Maybe we can get one of these assembled. I'm not sure yet. Bell tower. It's a bell tower. It looks great. Love it. Little steps up to it and like a little ad hoc kind of mount underneath it. You can definitely tell some of this is falling into. Chaotic disrepair. Statue head, which looked to be Sigmar with some Sigmar lightning bolt earrings. Kind of crazy, but why not? And barricades. Very cool looking too. And then the ruins, mix and match parts to create ruins as desired. Huh. All right then. And then there's some tops. That's what those were from the different types of sprues. So I'm not exactly sure. This isn't the place to find out about gameplay and how all this stuff and the reasons for things and the stuffs. But that being said, this should give you some ideas on how maybe you want to assemble yours and some color guides on the back. What's in the box indeed. So we're going to look at what else is in the box. As you can see, there's still plenty more space in here. So they explain a little bit more about all the stuff that you're going to get in here, and we'll look through all this in a second. And there's a quick start set of guides and a quick reference rule summary as well. So all good things to have when you are, you know, starting out on a new game. Board right there, and a set of the objective or the markers, the tokens that you're going to need. I don't exactly know what they all are, but this board looks like it folds out, and if it's anything like Kill Team, once we start getting the kill zones, these were folded in extra time. So having this being as big as it is right here is probably a little bit of a blessing in disguise, even though it might be a little bit hard to transport around. Now, the thing I liked about this is you've got these little flaps here that are actually kind of, that flip up this way, and they have things behind them like bases and little token baggies for all your stuff. There's your dice, and then over here is all the bases. So they kind of like hide things, and it's a neat little out-of-box experience. Then you've got all the different deployment or the different card packs that you're going to need right here. So you got your battlefield cards, which are going to give you your different, you know what, I forget what these are. I know they got the deployment cards, the twist cards. I think these were only for Triumph and Treachery. The victory cards, because there's different victory conditions for different things. Again, I only have a vague notion of how all this stuff works. Warcry Fighter and Divider deck. Okay, well I know, oh, there they are right there. Maybe these are bonuses and stuff. But they definitely have a specific abilities and specific way to play, just like the Sigmar cards. If you've ever gotten those War Scroll cards, there's the key that does everything. Abilities cards for the Chaos Beast, and of course the Sigmar cards are about this big, and that gives you all your abilities and such. So right off the bat, they come with game aids, and you know I'm liking that. Then as we dive a little deeper, you're going to get the Warcry rulebook, which isn't hardcover. It is a soft cover, just like we saw with Kill. Did we see it with Kill Team? No, I think the Elites and stuff after that were this. I don't think I think Kill Team was a hardcover. And scan the read chapter. Oh, it's a little advertisement for a book. Boom. And that is pretty much everything that comes in the box. Now we're going to take a few minutes and put some of these models together and tell you what we think. Okay, before we jump to the figures, I wanted to go over the values real quick, which I kind of, in my excitement to see all the sprues and the furies, forgot about. So, breaking down the values, it's kind of, you know, up in the air, and it's just kind of estimation and things, but just kind of spitballing things. So let's talk about that. We know the core book is $40, so that one's easy. That's worth $40. The Cypher Lords, which is a separate warband, which will be out release week, is $50 US. So you could make the assumption that perhaps both of these are worth $50 US as well. So that gets you 100 in the bank, 40 in the bank on the core rulebook. The battle plan cards you can get separately. So I'm not exactly sure at this point if it's going to be all of these, because you technically need all of these to play, and you can buy the book and then you can buy your faction cards, which are completely sold separate regardless. So they are listed at $18 currently. Then you've got this scenery starter set that's coming out called Corpse Rack Mausoleum, which is basically the mausoleum, which was previously known as the Garden of More, etc., etc., etc. And that is $90 US. So you could say perhaps this terrain here, which may also be released separately at some point, could be $90, judging off of that. And then the Chaos Beast pack, you can put it on the same scale as $40, $50 as each of these right there. And then, as we saw in the past with the kill zones for Kill Team, you would get this board and the dice and all the tokens and everything in those sets. And that maybe could be worth $30 to $40-ish. It's not exactly something that's sold separately, but maybe they'll come out with dice packs in the future. If you take all of that together, shake it in a box, and lay it out into a spreadsheet, you're looking at a total estimated value of $328 to $338, which at an MSRP of $170 for the whole box, your potential savings could be about, $160 to $170, give or take. Just spitballing it right there. So there's definitely value, whether it's double or whether it's a little bit more, in this box. I think personally one of the best ways to pick up the new game, if you are interested in it, pick up a box, pick up a separate pack of battle plan cards, a separate pack of a separate rule book for you and a friend. Split these if you want, and then get whatever faction cards you want for your existing Age of Sigmar armies, or at least the ones that are supported in this first wave, and just kind of go from there. And that way you have a little bit of terrain to kind of mess around with. You have a board, or perhaps there is another way, but that's kind of just what I'm spitballing and what I'm hearing people are doing to split the purchase up over, you know, picking up as much as you need. So back to the miniatures, we're taking a look at, who's this guy? Signifier. He's the Signifier, and he goes together. It's kind of like this squish fit, this computer slice here. Arm goes on, squish fit legs. A little shield kind of goes on the standard. And then you've got this weird, I don't know, collar that goes on here, but the collar like kind of extends over the shoulder pads, so there might be a little gap right there. And that's pretty much it. No other options there. So that's going to be interesting. Let's take a look at that one assembled. So here he is. Looks great. Multi-part kit with slices, very akin to Warhammer Underworlds. You can kind of see here where it, you know, I guess it's kind of almost like the armor, like you push the armor on. I didn't think about that till a second ago right there. But there's a little bit of gap right here. It's actually a little easier to see in the camera. It's very subtle to the naked eye, but you can see a little bit of gapping right here, even going down into the chainmail. Now, perhaps maybe a little bit of liquid glue, or like we showed you with the Sylvaneth Wildwoods, the plastic putty, and also these color shapers, number zeros, really help to get in there and seal that up with the plastic putty. But overall, looks great. Here's how he looks to a Sylvaneth Revenant on a 32mm base. So very much what you'd expect size and design / detail wise from a Warhammer miniature. Next up, we'll assemble the Heart Eater. I guess that's the leader, although they have different names for their force organization, which I forget. I think one's a dagger and shield or hammer, defender, I don't know. But either way, we're talking about the minis here. So you can kind of see, again, you know, left and right halves, and then the cape kind of goes on. But this is going to leave a lot of organic gapping. It's kind of, I don't know. We'll have to double check all that. And then the head goes on there, and the right weapon arm. So looks like the joints and everything are going to be, the gaps are going to be at the joints. So that's might be pretty easy to hide. Let's take a look at the figure assembled. So here he is on a 32mm base, and he looks good. There is not a lot of visible gaps that you can see here. They're very cleverly hidden, which GW is apt to do, and we love them for that. Great looking fur detail, bone detail, got the horns up top here, and all the stuff you would come to expect from a great looking Warhammer miniature, whether it's Underworlds or a multi-part kit just for normal Age of Sigmar. And he, let's see, this is how big he is to a Revenant for Sylvaneth. So about the same size, again, exactly what you would expect, and looks great. And last but certainly not least is one of the Furies. I think this was an iconic one from the preview, so we're going to do this. And it looks like it's only 4 parts on a 32mm base right there. So again, a lot of the gaps and a lot of the parts go together where you would naturally be able to hide gapping and spacing. So that's really cool to see. Let's check out how detailed this miniature is and how well they hid the gaps. So here is the plastic Fury, and it looks great for sure. Kind of ding the corner here a little bit, and a little stress bend right there, but nothing too bad. You can see in here inside the wings, there's a lot of flat areas, so you're gonna have to do some serious tricks with the painting to get that to look good. But other than that, you can see where the gapping and such is right here. Very, very hard to see, but if you start looking for it, it is noticeable, and up in there in the underarm section as well. So very easy. Little studs there, and holding a little dagger. I'm still really stoked that they brought Chaos Furies back. That's just so cool. Size wise, for 32mm base, there's a Dryad. So taller than a Dryad, taller than a, I wish I had some Chaos Demons handy. Oh, maybe I do. I got a Poxwalker. Where's my Poxwalker? Here's a Poxwalker. So here's a Poxwalker on 25mm base. So, I guess if it was standing up, it would be actually pretty big, surprisingly. but leaning down in a pose like that, it doesn't take up a lot of real estate. But now that I look at the instructions here, and of course we didn't assemble all of them, that is indeed the smallest of them. So lots and lots of taller models right there that look great. 6 of them come in this kit, and hopefully we'll see that as a separate release down the road as well. So that's it for our unbox and build today for the new Warcry starter. Gorgeous looking miniatures, great looking terrain. I think there's a solid value in this set. Gameplay wise, it's going to be a little different than what you're used to, but sometimes that's the fun of anything out there. But generally, you know, when it comes to Games Workshop, they know what they're doing when it comes to gameplay and also the fluff and the lore. And judging by the design of the miniatures and the way these things are laid out, there's definitely more to come for Warcry. As we already know, there's 6 of the warbands out there, and I'm sure at least another set or 2 on the way for this terrain right here. So that is about it for this one. Thank you very much for watching our unboxing build of the new Warcry starter set right here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our future videos.